Deja, how did it feel to have Eva and Alyssa back, at least trying to get them integrated back in the flow here late in the schedule?
Yeah, it felt really good to have them back because they're some of my favorite people to play with, and they make us a lot better. So it was definitely great.
Does it take time to? I mean, they've been around and they're starters, but they haven't been playing for a while. Does it take time to kind of reintegrate someone, even if they're experienced?
Yeah, for sure. It's about game pace, and they haven't played in over a month or so. So yeah, but they're experienced enough to get back into this.
For either player, do you kind of what happened on the last sequence? I guess the last play, it just seemed like Kitley popped open. Did you guys see did she lose somebody on a screen or any ideas?
Just some miscommunication.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, yeah, we move on. We move to the next one. So
They really shot poorly in the first quarter, but after that they shooting pretty well the rest of the game. What was different about your defense maybe in the first quarter versus the rest of the game?
I think probably our communication. I think we were really active in the first quarter, and we talked really well on the screens and what we had to do on screens. And I think we just had a lack of communication in the really second quarter and on. But they're also a really good team. They were bound to make some shots eventually.
Katie, if you could just talk a little bit about, obviously this game didn't go the way you guys wanted to, but similar to what we asked Deja, just what it's like to have Alyssa and Eva back at this point in the season going into, Duke on Sunday and ACC tournament next week.
yeah, I feel like we're whole again. As a group, they bring incredible pieces to this group. Not only what they bring off on the court, but off the court. Just that chemistry, having that back. And then, it was a good time to have our younger guys, experience that play run. And, it just feels good to have them back, honestly. They bring so much to us, and, yeah.
Deja, obviously you wanted to win, but a battle against a top 10 team, you made the big play there at the end with the clear out and the jumper. Overall, other than getting the loss, you had to feel good about how the team played overall against one of the hotter teams in the country.
Yeah, I like the way we played. I like their energy throughout the game. There was just, I think, some crucial possessions throughout the game that we're going to go back and watch and be sick to our stomach. So that's what it comes down to whenever we play Virginia Tech, honestly, possession games. So, yeah.
But and Amor, for either one of you, Amor, 10 points. She had a huge game up in Blacksburg. What did you guys do differently against her in this game?
We knew, she was going to look to shoot more threes. That's what she's been doing. So we scouted her really well, and then other guys kind of started hurting us. But not giving her daylight was our key, and I think we did a really good job at that as a whole. So I thought it was a good matchup.
Deja,
Well, obviously, she hit, some open shots and stuff. So.
if you could just add on to that and kind of what you guys were seeing, you and Toddy communicating a lot on the hedging, specifically on the more and the other ball handlers.
Yeah, that was our game plan, was to try to get the ball out of her hands as much as possible. She's a very ball-dominant guard. So we tried to just be as aggressive at the point of the screen as we could, just to try to slow her down and make her have to, go to plan B. I thought we did that pretty well most of the night, but it was Kitley that hurt us. So.
Y'all mentioned looking ahead next game, Duke. Obviously, you guys have a chance to play a little bit of spoiler because if you win, they probably don't win the title. Is that on your head, or you guys just want to bounce back overall?
Overall, obviously, Duke is definitely what we're looking forward to play them and to beat them on their home floor. We know what's at stake on both sides, so we're trying to look ahead.
Question for either player, could you just take me through at halftime or whether it was in huddles, just what discussions were you guys having about just how to guard Kitley?
Just trying to be as physical. She doesn't like physicality. Everyone knows that, and I think the refs gave her a few calls, but we won't blame the refs, of course. But just trying to be as physical as we could with her, just make her see a crowd, make her see bodies in front of her. But she's also a good enough player to be able to finish over and make her moves.
What can you learn from this game going to Sunday?
A lot. That communication is our biggest downfall right now. I think we need to probably move the ball a little better. We only had 8 assists. But yeah, I think communication is just our biggest thing. We knew that this was going to be a tight game, and like I said, it comes down to possessions. So obviously that's what it came down to, that one possession, and we had miscommunication. So yeah.
So the communication you're talking about is defense mainly.
Yes.
Just on the note of communication, I think it was before Virginia Tech set up for the eventual buzzer beater, but I saw you motion your teammates in for just kind of like a last second huddle before you guys set up on defense. What were you saying to them?
To switch everything and to talk about it. So yeah, that was the talk. Didn't happen.
Anything else for the players? And we'll get Coach Banghart in here. All right, let's guys go. Thank you.
Thanks, ladies.
Hi guys.
All right, opening thoughts, please, and then we'll take questions.
Well, we got to start by talking about senior night. Is this on or you don't need it? Am I good? Senior nights are always hard. You have such a bittersweet. It's a bittersweet night for a coach. And I told them, let me be distracted. You guys stay locked in. And I thought they, for the most part, did a really, really good job of that. We talked about AY's ability to handle adversity and how she just kept going. And we wanted to play in that honor today. We saw some adversity and we kept going. We talked about, for Eva, how important it was that we stayed connected. That's always been her priority. We played really connected tonight. And then we talk about Malou and how she's so proud to wear the Tar Heel jersey and show that with how you compete. And so they really checked off the 3 boxes we really wanted on a senior night. You guys we should charge more for the Virginia Tech games because they're classics, all of them. If you add up the number of times we played them, I think 10 times in the last 3 years, and every one with the exception of the one at our place a couple years ago or last year when we beat them pretty handily. They're all super close games. 2 really good teams, a heavyweight fight, and so great environment. Again, I give a shout out to the students. They've made this just a real joy to be here, coaching for them.
What did you see on the Kitley's bucket? She was probably more open than she expected. Maybe somebody didn't switch on the screen. What happened?
Yeah. Well, first of all, one of the best players in the league. It's not rocket science. We had a foul to give, and we knew where the ball was going. When you have Amor taking it in, there's no other options. So we were going to switch everything. Ball came in. We were going to foul, which would put them at under a second left. It would be a baseline out of bounds under. We'd have our length in, but things happen quickly, and it's much easier for me, who's dressed in retros, not game shoes, to see what's happening in live time. So it was a missed coverage by some inexperience.
Courtney, what's the difficulty in trying to match up with her specifically? The players were talking about the importance of being physical with her. It seemed like you had a lot of players swarming around her when she did put the ball on the floor. So what was the biggest challenge of trying to guard her?
The biggest thing is she has a really high release. She's like the women's version of Dirk Nowitzki, right? She's just really hard to guard because you can't get it up top. And so when she catches it from whether it's 10 feet, 15 feet out, once she has it, you can't do anything about it, right? And so you've got to force her with physicality to catch it a little bit further away. That also keeps her off the offensive glass. And then, when now that makes her think and that hesitates her, and then we're able to kind of come with some hands. So, overall, we did a decent job on her. I mean, it's a really tough kid to guard. They have great players. Kenny's done a great job. We were, what did we lose by 1? We were 2. We were 2 points, not good enough tonight.
But for the first time all season, you have a full roster minus Ariel.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what you expected coming into the season, but you don't get it till now. What are the emotions on the team now with the shift in the chemistry?
Yeah, just getting healthy for a coach. It's just a pleasure. It's just a pleasure. So we're deeper, and we have our full arsenal. There's a lot of basketball still to be played. I mean, you do all this for, it's crazy to me how much goes into the month of March. I think of all the dinners I miss, all the recruiting trips I take, the hard parts of the job, which are all of it, and it's for March. And the fact that we're healthy going into March is something that every coach wants. And so we feel like there's a lot of basketball to be played, and looking forward to what's next in March.
How did you think Eva and Alyssa's conditioning was in terms of, it's one thing for practice workouts, but game shape's something different that you've got to integrate in?
Exactly. Yeah, and just, Alyssa, again, the crowding, she had just gotten good at playing slow enough and then fast enough and fixing that out. She had too many turnovers tonight. She was a little out of rhythm there. You know, I thought Eva gave us some good minutes, wasn't able to find her shot, which we expected, but the youth was able to step in and help out at times. You know, it was a great college basketball game. If that shot misses, like you think about last year when we played Louisville, and they miss a shot, and all of a sudden, like, we're the next thing coming, right? And if they miss that shot, changes everything, right? So it's college basketball. It's the beauty of it and the heartbreak of it, and my job is to keep them moving forward.
In terms of even Alyssa, is there a certain amount of time you think it's going to take to get them all the way integrated, I guess, for lack of a better term?
I don't think so. It's a good question, Aaron. I don't think so because they're so experienced within this roster. They played so many minutes over the last 2 years. So I think they'll be a little bit better against Duke than they were today. But that remains to be seen. Duke's also excellent, and that's a road game, and we know what that's all about. So, but yeah, no, I don't think I don't think it would take them long to get back into the swing of things, and for us to that we called a good game. We kind of knew what we needed to do on both ends, and they'll be a little bit better, I think, on Sunday.
What about Traylor gave you trouble
Yeah.
today?
She's another really good player. I think she's another fifth year. You know, a lot of teams are so much older at times, and that still matters. So she had a huge night. We did a really good job on Amor, one of the best players in the league. She'd been hurting us over the last couple games, so we really prioritized that. Obviously, Kayla King is one of the best shooters in the league. We did a really good job on her. But then the next guy hurts you. So it's just a great basketball team.
Coach, can you kind of speak on kind of losing the rebounding battle? Spoke with Alyssa.
I can talk about the 11 O boards they had at halftime. That was something that we mentioned kindly in the locker room, which turned into only 3 in the second half. Too many. It's too good of a team, we said, to give them 2 chances. So on the glass, we were much better in the second half than we were in the first half. But they had 11 O boards in the first half.
So Kennedy was saying for Amor, you just tried to deny her the ball, and how were you able to do that?
Kennedy guarded her a lot. Kennedy and Kayla guarded her the most. We wanted to use length and keep her close the distance. She loves this kind of step back that James Harden uses on the men's side. And so you have to close the space, We wanted to force her to make twos. She also gets into the paint and can get other people's shots. We didn't want that to happen, so we stayed locked into our own coverage. So it's a pretty different defensive game plan than we played traditionally. But there's so much familiarity. I mean, I'm expecting a Christmas card from everybody on that team over the last 2 years. They've just played them so much, right? So you don't have to. I don't even think we showed personnel. It's like, hey guys, you know who they are. So they, we held them to 61 points. It's a pretty dynamic offensive team. I did a pretty good job.
Coach, could you just talk a little bit about, I saw you pull Kayla over to the side after the game. What were you telling her?
It's so hard, right? Because these kids, they give you everything they've got, right? And so she's heartbroken about it. She knows that she was supposed to switch. She knows that we had a foul to give. She knows it all, right? And so, she's bummed about it. So I reminded her that this is how quickly things happen in college, and she's a huge piece of who we are, and the game won't break your heart if you let it, But you can hurt for a moment, but we've got to look forward. That's a life skill, So I just wanted her to remember that this is about the seniors tonight, and your heart might be broken, and the game will break your heart again. That's just what it does. The longer you stay in it, it doesn't define you.
Just kind of some timeline questions. At
Yeah.
what point did you know that Eva and Alyssa were good to go for tonight?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't want to give you a false answer. I just don't really know. I feel like it's always a little bit day to day because we want them to pass certain. We're pretty scientific around these parts about when are they going to be fully healthy, and we can kind of test their acceleration on both feet and their strength on both feet and both legs and all the things. So, our strength. I hate how close I am to the team doctors and orthopedic surgeons here at Carolina, but they're on my weekly call list. I think it was. I don't even really answer that this week. I don't know. Yeah, sorry, I don't know.
But they practiced yesterday.
We don't practice because we don't have enough time. So we practice about 20 minutes a day because we don't have enough. Our bodies are this time of year we're pretty beat up. So they did part of the live practice yesterday.
Okay.
What was yesterday? Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Yeah. So we did part of live practice yesterday. We did part of live practice the day before. But we're doing a lot of learning through film and movements and angles and things. Not as much live at this point.
Maybe one more question, and then we'll have to go.
With like 3 seconds left, Alyssa ties the game with a free throw,
Yeah.
but then she missed the next one, and then obviously Elizabeth Kaylee hits the winner.
Yeah.
Did you say anything to Alyssa in particular after the game?
Yeah, Alyssa is heartbroken, and that's why I was late. I mean, She, as I said when I recruited her, you got to recruit kids you can lose with, because if you can lose with them, you won't lose very often, right? And I reminded her of that story because I was sitting in her living room telling her that, and I stand by my words. That's a kid that I can lose with because I know what I get from her. So she's really heartbroken. She can't stand the 5 turnovers, all the things, and she just wants to be better for me and for us. And you know, I told her the same thing I told Kayla. This game will break your heart, and the only other option is to not play it. But your heart is going to be broken, and you know, she's a huge piece of who we are. I'm really proud of her, and I can lose with her, and tonight I had to do that.
Coach Brooks.
Thank you much.
Thank you.